coming up on this episode of the Spiro podcast.
So, immediately our brain wants to go into fight or flight mode,
Right.
kind of our caveman brain. And we're like, whoa, Zillow.
Welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Civimaki and Craig Magrum.
Well, welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a software platform designed to help you really manage and grow your real estate media and marketing business. I'm Craig Magrum, the host of the podcast, and along with me every week, or most every week, co-host and Spiro founder and owner, Todd Civimaki. It's going to be an interesting discussion today, Todd.
Yes, Craig, this is one that is very interesting. And there's some things happening in the industry. And sorry, my earbuds just popped there. There's some things happening in the industry. And it's like, what's going on? So this is the podcast that we had hinted at with the marketing podcast where we had it seemed like everybody's shutter broke that day or they crashed a drone and Craig had to just pick up and go. And so this is what we were talking about. So we're going to get back to it today. I know all of you are going to want to know about it. And we want to know what you think about it as well.
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to want comments and feedback because we want a discussion going on this and just, get your input. But before we do that, we just want to thank those of you that are our listeners and viewers, especially to those of you that maybe are new to the Spiro podcast. Welcome. This is all about media and marketing in real estate, visual media. We're photographers, we're videographers, and we help our realtor clients. So this podcast is for you. And we're talking about the business side of what we do, not so much the creative side, because there's some other really talented and professional people that cover the creative side of things very well. And so we thought, well, we'll talk about the business side. But so thank you for watching and listening. And we want to hear your ideas for content for the show. If you've got a business question that you'd like to see us tackle, maybe invite a guest on that is an expert in that area of business. Let us know, those topics that you're looking for, education that you're looking for. We'd love to dive into those things and make this a valuable podcast to you. So you can email us at hello@spiro.media and just put podcast idea, content idea, whatever. And we'd love to take a look at that and tackle that in a future episode. Todd, you wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of things before we dive into our main topic, talking a little bit about our Spiro software and then also the upcoming PMRE conference and a hint at something that is news to me as well.
Yes, I didn't even communicate this one. This one just happened. So first off, going to start with Craig's point about this being the business of real estate media. So we have our parent company, Wow Video Tours. We've done real estate media since 2004. So we have been in the real estate media industry for quite some time. And from the beginning, we've developed software. I have a computer science background. So I thought, hey, if I'm going to do something 1, 5, 12,000 times, I'm going to have software that manages it. So this is a podcast sponsored by Spiro, the software. It's all software that you all can use. We have had some incredibly exciting updates come in. The main goal of the software is to help you sell more, help you upsell additional products, sell in bundles, sell the way that realtors want to buy. Also, task and workflows. We expedite 12,000 jobs a year. 80% of those have a video upgrade. We have an AI video editing system. We don't even have human editors edit the videos anymore. We have a AI system that is doing that. But task and workflows, it integrates with our editors. It manages all the due dates. 12,000 jobs. If there's 8 tasks on each one of those jobs, that's a lot of tasks every year. So if you're not managing your task in something, you're probably going crazy. So if you'd like to see the software, you can find out more at spiro.media. That's Spiro spiro.media. And I will just say again that we are filling up quick. We don't take just anybody and everybody. We like to give you the time to get in and set you up for success so that you can sell more, so that you can find more of your time. You can schedule automatically, all those things. So if you would like to see it, if you have questions, if you want to get into it, please sign up ASAP, spiro.media, and hit the sign up form. Also want to discuss, so PMRE, if you are out there looking, you're driving around every day and you're looking for someone like you and you're like, nobody's like me. There are other people out there like you, real estate photographers. I did that for the longest time. And it was, it's nice to connect with a crowd that is like you. And Brandon Cooper is the owner and the originator of the PMRE conference. He has worked so hard in putting this together. There is nothing like it in our industry. And for those of you that have maybe come from another industry, that you've gone to conferences and gone to big conferences, this is of that level. It's out in Vegas. There's a stage, there's great presenters, fabulous things to do. There's nightly activities. Craig and I were there last year, and I'm going to be there again this year. And so we will be there to see you this year. Craig, what are your thoughts on what was your one key takeaway from PMRE for our listeners out there?
Well, you already kind of talked about it. It really, for me, it was connecting with other professionals in our industry. And we all have this common language, even without really knowing each other, prior to coming to the PMRE conference, and shared experiences with our clients. I mean, realtors are realtors across the entire country. We love them, but we have similar stories and experiences in doing photography and video for them. So just sharing the ideas, even outside of the sessions that were presented from stage, sharing ideas with peers, just in those side conversations, of those networking times that we had. The networking time for me was the real takeaway, being able to connect with other professionals and realize we're not alone in this.
Yeah. If you'd like to find out more about it, I highly suggest it and suggest time going. They do it in November, so they do it at the right time of year. Yep. And it's a great time to get away and recharge your batteries. You can find out more at pmreconference.com. That's PM Photo Media, RE Real Estate Conference.com. If you're going to sign up, I have a discount code for you to take $50 off your order. You just have to email me, hello@spiro.media. I'll send you the discount code. You can put it in there and you'll save $50 off your ticket. But I can't recommend it enough. Brandon does a fabulous job, and there's so much that goes into this. And we would love to see you there. So come up and say hello to us if you are going to go. Now, Craig, I gave you this little cliffhanger in my outline yesterday about something new, hinting at something. Yeah. So this was an individual, met him at PMRE. A lot of you know him. He's pretty big on social media, and he is a listener of the podcast. And he emailed me when we got to talking about CE classes. And CE is continuing education, for those of you that didn't listen to that podcast. But every realtor has to have so many CE classes a year. Every state, everywhere, they have to have continuing ed. And you, as a real estate media provider, anybody can create a CE class. You just have to get it approved. And then you can actually go in and give this presentation in front of many realtors. You can, you're up there designating yourself as the source, as a teacher. And it's just a great way. Teaching is fabulous. If you haven't done it before, you might be beginning to sweat thinking about it, but it's a good thing. And you're in front of your potential clients, teaching them about ways that they can market their listings. And you can't really openly say it, but with your services. So this individual emailed me and was like, hey, I've got this class, had good success with it. You're talking about CE classes. Could there be something here? So we are doing a beta test for him, but this is a great way. And I'm putting the cart before the horse, but if you want a great way to get in front of your potential clients with a CE class, which you're like, I don't know how to create one, I think this individual is going to be able to help you create one. So I just wanted to give you guys some information on that. It should be on your list somewhere. CE classes, you have you probably have a list somewhere that are marketing ideas. Put CE classes on there, and then we'll get back to this here in a month or two and tell you how this individual potentially can streamline it for you.
Man, Todd, yeah, you really are teasing this and leaving us on the edge of the cliff. Because now I'm curious. Okay, who is this person? What's this class of? Because I can use this up in our market.
For sure. Well, lucky for you, Craig, you get to try it because you're on our team. So, but the rest of you will, and you all know him. He's a fabulous individual. I had a great time just getting to know him out at the PMRE conference. So all just come kind of full circle here, which is fun and a great way. It's another marketing tool, and you guys tell us like, hey, we need help selling and marketing to realtors.
Right. Well, that's exciting. And we can't wait to hear more about it, Todd. All right. With that all aside, time to dig into our main topic?
Yes.
Let's do it. So these are two hot words in our industry right now, two company names that you are well familiar with for sure, and that is Zillow and Cubicasa. Two services that we work with every day. And you've had some discussions and some insight that you wanted to share this week.
I did. So for those of you out there that don't know about either company or don't know what's going on, I'll preface this by saying there's always good with potentially bad. And this is just business. So I wanted to bring it to you guys and get you thinking about it. But Zillow is out there, and Zillow's doing what they're doing. They are out there. They now are targeting real estate agents to produce media for them. So they purchased Showing Time probably 6-8 months ago, and they've been acquiring companies to set themselves up for this. Now, little teaser of what I think is going to happen. They did this same thing with real estate agents. So they used to be a real estate agency where they would try to sell houses. That didn't work out too good for them. And I believe that is all squashed now. They're not trying to do that anymore. So their next trial is, hey, let's sell media and let's sell basically positioning is what it's going to be. They are the big dogs in the real estate search engine space, at least in the US. And realtors want to be high up in the search results. That's just basic marketing.
Right.
And they're out there now saying they're targeting brokerages, and they're saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Broker, we can create a media exclusive partnership with you. We will provide you with photos in our Zillow 3D product. And not only that, but we will push you up in the search results of other individuals that don't have this agreement with us. So they are coming after us as an industry and leveraging their platform to try to take business away from all of us. Now, the verdict's still out there and what they're doing in the sell-through and what they're having. But one thing to think about is how good are your relationships right now with your VIP individuals?
That's what I was just thinking about. Relationships.
Yeah, this all comes back to relationships. And that is the name of the game, no matter who you're playing with, the big of the big dog Zillow or your local competitor across town.
So let me ask this question then, Todd. If Zillow is targeting or focusing on brokerages and broker agreements, we know as a practice, though, that brokers cannot force their realtors into a specific vendor or provider of their media and marketing, correct? Is that correct?
That is correct. Now there are, all realtors are 1099s, at least realtors in the US, our international listeners email us, are your realtors 1099 too? And we can keep this discussion international, but correct. They're 1099. They're their own business. They can choose to do what they want.
Okay. So that initial fear that might strike your heart when you hear, hey, Zillow's going after my business, can be offset by the fact of the relationship that you have with your clients, which is what we just talked about. And I've seen that where we've got some competitors that have come into the market I serve up here in the Toledo, Ohio area. But because of the relationship I've built with these realtors that we've shot for over the last couple of years, even though they might have a better deal on, say, a specific product or service, they know the relationship that they have with us. They know how we represent them on the shoot, and they've stayed loyal to us. There is something to be said for relationship and loyalty in our business, even when a big dog, a big company like Zillow comes into the market.
Yeah. 100%. And that is what you need to focus on during this time. So, immediately our brain wants to go into fight or flight mode,
right.
Kind of our caveman brain. And we're like, whoa, Zillow. I'm actually reading a book right now that's called Pitch Anything. Our good friend Pete with Servant 360, he's like, Todd, you got to read it. So I'm actually getting around to it. So Pitch Anything, and he calls it your caveman brain. And that is what kicks in. That's your fight or flight. We have it because we used to run from lions. We used to run from bears, or if you're running from a bear, like it needs to kick in and you need to go a little bit faster.
Faster than the next guy.
Yes. You just have to be faster than the slowest guy.
Right. Sorry, did that come out of my mouth?
No, it was good. It was good. Anyway. It's true.
Yeah.
But that's what you need to get those emotions aside and then focus on your relationships. Who have you not talked to in a while? Who is shooting a lot of tours with you that could use a handwritten card? They still send those. That post office, if you handwrite a card, you put a stamp on that sucker, you drop it in the mailbox, put the flag up, it will get to that person.
Some people are saying, what's a post office? What, a mailbox? What?
The funny thing is, Craig, I told my kids about this, like Grant, my middle child, about 3 months ago, he realized that he could write a letter to his grandma and grandpa. When I told him, I was like, hey, just pop it in the mailbox and put a stamp on it. He thought the stamps were like stickers. because he just is using stamps for, you get a roll of stamps and I got new stickers. I'm like, wait a minute, those aren't stickers. He was amazed, like mind blown when he realized that he could put a stamp on an envelope and send it to someone. No one except my 8-year-old son's doing it anymore. Please do it. Take advantage of it.
It makes you feel special to get a letter from somebody, and it happens so rarely now. Yeah,
it does. It does. And people save them. I have them up here on my desk here. Good buddy of mine, Austin Chevron, Fort Wayne, Ohio. He sent me a handwritten one.
Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. Yeah, sorry.
Don't want to offend those Hoosiers over there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that would be offensive. I've got it sitting up on my desk. He wrote it like 6 months ago. Like it was a nice note. Yeah. So I walk by every day. I see his brand. I see his name every day on my counter.
Yep.
So build your relationships. Don't freak out about Zillow. Just know what's going on. That's the thing with with information. The other thing that I will tell you is Zillow is smart. This does work. I mean, Zillow has a lot of smart people there. They haven't really figured out what works yet and how to make money because they've just dropped off. I think they've just dropped off the list of Fortune 500 companies. I believe I read that.
Really?
I could be wrong about. Yeah, I believe so. With this change in market, but brokerage deals do work. Craig, we know that. We've been selling brokerage deals for almost 20 years. We actually just signed a very large one with a company that's in many of our states. And it started in a territory in Columbus, Ohio, and now has spread, and Craig's working it and Pam's working it. And so they are smart with the idea that connecting with a broker and saying, hey, we can bring you this value, bring your agents this value. And not only that, but when your agents use this media, your brand will elevate because we're raising the floor of marketing. And then they go, oh, by the way, do you need a recruiting tool? Would you like to recruit more agents to grow a market share? Yes, that's what every broker wants to do. So they know how to speak broker language. I was trying to come up with a term I was trying to marry something together. I'm not that creative this morning, but it really is a thing. The language that a broker speaks, if you don't know it, please go back to one of our original podcasts, we talk about it, or email me. I'm extremely passionate about this because when we do it at our media company, we grow and grow and grow and grow. Mm-hmm. So they are smart in that way that you need to target the broker, but you need to know what to tell the broker and what to provide the broker. So you could use that strategy. If you don't have a broker deal, you should be packaging a broker deal. One more quick pitch, it'll be less than 20 seconds for Spiro, but we built the system so that you could sell and manage these broker deals, custom order pages, agent and company pay, beautiful spreadsheets to the admin or to the to their accountant at the brokerage so that they can make it all work. Mm-hmm. So if you're not using this, please just steal it and do it because it works.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so that's the news on Zillow. The other big company news and topic that we wanted to talk about this week, Cubicasa. What's going on with them?
Cubicasa, so great people. Cubicasa, they're trying something too. They're trying to figure out how they make money. Everybody is. So sure. I don't take offense to some of their ideas. But Cubicasa, we had a conversation with them the other day, and one of their sales reps, and they are now. For those of you that, let me take you back maybe 12 to 18 months in timeline. Cubicasa creates floor plans through their app. Mm-hmm. And you basically walk the house very quickly. It's like a 5-10 minute thing. And you magically get this floor plan after you upload this video scan of the property. Also, I believe they process all the floor plans for Matterport. So they've been processing floor plans for a very long time, and they do it very well. But not only do you get the floor plan, but you get room dimension. Now, depending on how good you are at walking it, and if you have a LiDAR device, they have pretty good accuracy. Mm-hmm. So they use a charge for that service, and they would charge you, the creator, directly. I think about 10, 12 months ago, maybe less, they began saying, hey, our services are free. Everybody's going, well, what do you mean free? And so basically what they did is they were acquired by a appraisal company, I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, they found out that they could make money down the road with the appraisals and having this data. So they just want to collect a lot of this data. So, hey, great for us, real estate creators. You can now create a floor plan for free. Okay, so now they're trying to figure out how to get as many floor plans created as possible. So they had a conversation with us, or we had a conversation with them. I guess it's the same thing. 2 weeks ago. And basically they want you and us, they want real estate media companies out there to offer a floor plan on every package, on every item. So there's never a time that you go to a house and don't shoot a floor plan. So even if you're going out and you're doing like a photos only appointment, you're going to tell Cubicasa, hey, on every appointment, I'm going to scan the house to create a floor plan. And in doing that, they will it's kind of like a scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So in doing that, they give you some perks. They're trying to create relationships with local MLSs. And when they have those relationships, if you're a preferred vendor of theirs, and there's some steps that you have to go through and some volume you have to do, that they will introduce you to individuals at the board and help you get recognition and marketing, basically. They'll put you in their app. They give you so many percent. They give you a % off, or they give you a discount on upgrades. So they do have some charge points. If you're doing a GLA floor plan, they charge for that, but you get money off. If you're doing like fixed furniture, they call it. So they have some upgrades that they give you a percentage off. But I just thought it was a really interesting idea of offering a floor plan on everything and partnering with them to say, hey, I'm going to always do a floor plan.
Okay. So let me just play dumb for a moment here, Todd. Okay. So Cubicasa is not going to charge us, the photographer, to do a basic floor plan. However, we could still charge that ourselves to our client. And with their goal being a floor plan on every listing, okay, that begs the question, well, what if not every realtor wants a floor plan or wants to pay for that? Do you just build that, you want to make a little something on it. So do you just build that into your price for, say, a photo only package if you want real basic?
Yeah, good question. Exactly that, Craig. So Cubicasa is asking us as media companies to guarantee it on every time you go to a property. So there's never a time that you don't do it. So if you do have a photos only, you are now offering photos and floor plan, and there's not a time, like I said, you don't shoot it. So they don't care if you charge for this. In fact, they don't even mention anything of it. They want you to charge for it. That's kind of one of the benefits. And Zillow, coincidentally, is doing the same thing with Zillow 3D. So right now, Zillow 3D, they have a 3D and floor plan option, and that is free. And you can charge for that. You can charge your clients for that because it's a value add. Same thing with the floor plan with Cubicasa is you can charge your clients because you are there on site, and then you do have time afterwards. There's some work going into the floor plan afterwards to just vet it, to go through it, to deliver it. And so you can charge for that time, and they won't charge you anything for it.
So let me ask another dumb question. It's the episode for dumb questions from Craig. That could be a feature. So how in the heck are these companies then making money if they're not charging us to use the system? I mean, yeah, obviously upgrades are going to make a little bit, but I can't imagine that it would be enough to sustain a business.
Yeah, some of them are still trying to figure out. They have hypotheses right now.
Okay.
With Cubicasa, like I said, they were acquired by an appraisal company or something that has to do, and a company that has something to do with appraisals. And they have found out that down the road, having those measurements will make them money during the appraisal process.
Okay.
And the same thing with Zillow. Zillow now is saying, hey, all of you, we'll give you our Zillow 3D and floor plan product. We'll give it to you for free. And then, the goal is, I think that they're going to get the agents hooked on it, or get the agents hooked on the idea of a higher placement. And then agents are going to ask for it by name. And then when you do that, you're already tied into Zillow's ecosystem.
Right.
And then you can't not offer it. So it is an interesting thing. That was my response to the individual we talked at Cubicasa is, where I'm offering something that we're still figuring out the accuracy of it. So we just started using it a few months ago, and we have had some accuracy issues. Now they have been good with helping us through. Sometimes it was our fault. Sometimes it was their fault. So we're still measuring the accuracy of it. I don't know how viable it is in a area of the country where measurements are required by the board, by the MLS, and they have to be a certain accuracy percentage.
Right.
This is a sticky thing, because remember, everyone, that houses are priced off of square footage.
Right.
The bigger the house, the more expensive. The smaller, the less expensive. Now, there are some factors that go into that, location and features and updates. But generally, a bigger house is going to cost more money. And so the floor plan is where the agents gain that information. So we're still figuring out how accurate it is. And then two, I then have to depend on another company for 100% of my shoots. That's where I start to feel a little bit uneasy. I love accountability. I love to be accountable for it. And it's tough for me to say, hey, I'm completely depending on Cubicasa or Zillow 3D, and I can't change something that I want to change. If you take a photo and a client calls you and says, hey, I would really like the couch, it's really darker brown. Can you make the couch darker? No problem. Send it to your editor, or pull up a Photoshop, burn the couch a little bit more, take the highlights down, send it back to the client, and you have self-serviced the client. Well, with Cubicasa, we can't do everything. We've worked a lot with our support team and Jess up front, and there's just some things that you can't do with Cubicasa that, like change a measurement or change something. So I get a little leery when I have to depend 100% on another company for 100% of my jobs. So I don't know. We didn't take the leap because I just can't. I can't do that. We are using and trialing Cubicasa as a floor plan solution, but wow, 100%
Yeah.
I don't know how all of you out there feel about it. I would love to get your opinion on it. What are you doing it? How's your accuracy? And then, what do you think about them saying it has to be 100% of your jobs?
Yeah. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment and just share your experience and feedback on that. And if you're listening to the podcast, drop us an email and let us know your experience and your thoughts. And maybe we can make that a feature on the podcast, Todd, where we read from the mailbag, the email bag. Yeah. We'd love your comments. So you can just email us hello@spiro.media. Well, interesting updates and situations in the business world of what we do, Todd.
Yeah, it sure is. So we want to bring it to you, and conclusion wise, this is a community thing. So let's get the conversation going, and I'll let you know what we're doing as a company. I'll be transparent with you, but don't take what we're doing. Just don't do everything that we do. I mean, I think we have a pretty solid company, but I make some dumb decisions sometimes. So, and hopefully I can give you insight as to what not to do. But on this one, we haven't made the decision yet.
Yeah. Any final thoughts that you have on any of our topic today?
I just go back to relationships. I really do. A quick story. We had an individual in a city that we shoot in, and we had shot for her because we had an exclusive deal with a company, and then she left that company and we could not shoot for her. So we lost her business, and she was a top agent, and she was not only a top agent, but a good agent to work with. Sometimes you have top agents that are like, they bring you good business, but they're a lot of work. She was not. She was just a fantastic person, always enjoyable to be around, and did a lot of business. And so she went to another company and we didn't shoot for her. And since we have gotten out of that exclusive agreement, and so we can shoot for anybody that we would like to. Mm-hmm. And we had approached her, and the business development specialist in that area called her. She's like, no, I'm just going to stick with who I'm with. I appreciate the call, but I'm going to stick. And we sponsored an event in the city, and she just happened to be there. And, so I saw her. It was great to see her. We talked about her kids, my kids. We talked about life. I got to meet, the title lady that she does a lot of business with. It was a human to human conversation. Yep. And it wasn't even I'm very careful. Like, I'm really not the best salesperson because I won't ask you for it. I won't be like, hey, are you going to come back? Like, I just won't do that. Like, that's not a good quality, but it's just like, I don't want her to feel the pressure. I just want to be genuine. I want to serve her if I can. And I kind of enjoyed hearing about what her kids are doing, quite honestly. Yeah. And long story short, fast forward 2 weeks, she places an order, a really nice average really nice order. Followed up with her, made sure everything was good. Chris called her. And because of that relationship, she's like, hey, I'm going to use you guys again. So, that was a huge win for me and for us, and just exciting to have her come back. But beyond that, the learning thing here is just build those relationships. Right. If someone tells you no, they're just saying, hey, no, not right now. Mm-hmm. Figure out if you can solve a problem, if you can serve them better. There was a few problems that she needed solved. We were able to solve them. Get out there, get out in the field. I know you're busy right now out there and you're saying, Todd, I'm running day to night shooting. And I get that. I really do. But you need to make time to work on your business and just hit a couple of events. And it will be so worthwhile. And I'll tell you, it was just a proud moment for me and us at the company. And it's nice when you can get someone, connect with someone, serve someone, solve some problems for them, and then continue to do business with them.
Exactly. Exactly. And I just want to throw in some quick insight, because you just said something that kind of triggered in a good way what I'm working in. You said, it's busy for people right now, shooting morning to night. And of course you're editing or sending to your editors. There's a lot of work during this busy season. And if you're a solopreneur and you're doing this on your own, it is hard to carve time out of your schedule to do that. But the role that I have is kind of a unique one here at Wow Video Tours, in that I'm both a photographer and videographer, and I'm a business development specialist. So even during the busy season, I've got to make time to do some presentations. And that does cut into availability to current clients. But taking just, say an hour to stop in an office meeting and make a quick presentation and, shake some hands and introduce yourself to people and get to know them, it will have long-term ramifications in a positive way on your business. So even though it feels painful in the moment during the busy season, hey, I could be making money right now, understand that taking that time to build those relationships and introduce yourself will result in making more down the road.
For sure. And Craig, you will never say this because you're the most humble person in the whole world, but I'll give you some facts because I think it's important. Craig was over goal by 30% last month. So he hit his goal and then he went a third over. So it does work. It is a lot of hard work and Craig worked his butt off, but those relationships are key. And it doesn't matter what any name in any industry is doing. If you have the relationship, people use who they know, like, and trust. And that is the bottom line every single time.
I know this is about the business side of what we do, and we're in business to make money. But I will say for me, most of my life, I worked in the nonprofit sector, actually in ministry. And my driving motivator is relationships with people. That comes first. So yes, I have a job for our company to make profit. And, I want to be productive for our company. But if you're doing that at the expense of relationships and not acting with integrity and honesty and really caring for people as human beings, like Todd, you said you just had that human to human conversation, and that led to a business relationship, not just the personal one. But that's if you can get your mind wrapped around the relationship, and that's the takeaway from this podcast, and really care about people, the business will follow. And it doesn't have to be high pressure sales. I don't like high pressure sales. I really try to approach things more as a consultant. I've got a couple of clients that they'll call me, hey, I've got this type of listing. I know you guys do this, this, and this. Should I do all of it? Should I do some of it? And there's situations where I'm like, no, don't do all of that, because that's overkill and you're kind of can't. I want them to trust me and realize that we're looking out for their best interest. And if you're truly doing that, the business will follow, and you don't have to worry about big companies coming into your market. They might take some business, yes, but the long-term health of your business is going to be a good one because of the relationships that you have. So there's our summary.
Well said, Craig. Well said. Thank you for that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up this week, Todd.
It is. Lots of good things. Let us know what you think. Please be part of the conversation.
Yeah. Make sure you mention the podcast to others. If there's others in the industry that could benefit from the business talk that we do on this podcast, let them know about it. Share the podcast. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And that's mainly for your benefit, just to get notified when a new episode drops. And if you don't mind, a like always goes a long way in helping us get this in front of more people as well. I know we've shared the email address a couple of times, but if you have a comment or a thought that you want to share, email us and just send that to hello@spiro.media. And don't forget, if you're watching the YouTube channel, there's the audio version of the podcast. You can listen to that in between shoots if you're still out actively shooting, and vice versa. If you're listening to the podcast and if you got some downtime and you want to see our faces for radio on this podcast, you can check out the YouTube. The YouTube channel is just youtube.com/@Spiro podcast. But we just want to thank you again for making the time to listen to this. We've gotten to know some great people that are subscribers and listeners, and we enjoy the relationship with you as well. So thank you for listening. And I'll just say, take time to be thankful for the blessings in your life and make sure to take a breath. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.